Welcome to Heroes and Generals, Spaatz Videolog. The game is currently in early access, so please bear in mind that the gameplay, graphics and sound shown here will evolve and improve over time. In this video, I'll take you through some of the changes in the new update we have just released, called Spaatz. We have added a new map, the Village Skirmish map, which is placed in a rural environment, as all skirmish missions occur just outside the main assault battlefields on the campaign map. In this map, we have shortened the distance from the spawn points to the control points, so you can get into the action faster than on the other skirmish maps. Rush down the forest path to control point B at the sunken ruins, and get in a close quarter fight for infantry dominance. Or brave the open fields to battle across the river between control point C at the chateau and control point A at the farm. Due to the shorter distances, all three control points are in danger at all times, so be prepared to move dynamically across the battlefield as both teams scramble to dominate the map. Also, the more dramatic shape of the terrain has been specifically designed to counter spawn campers. But take your motorcycle out for a spin and you will find that it also provides ample opportunity for awesome daredevil jumps. Furthermore, each team gets a free truck in their spawn to play with. But be careful, the night is dark and full of tigers. The Village Skirmish map is available and playable for everyone on the servers, but we would still like to get feedback about your experience with it on our forum, as we will continue to work on this map in the coming updates. When you join a mission, you will now see a mission briefing in the main game window while the action game is loading. Here you can see what map you're fighting over, where the assault teams are placed, and you get a short description of what you need to do in the mission. And after a mission has ended, you will be presented with a new battle report. The battle section shows which faction won the mission, how many resources were lost for both factions, how the ownership of the map looked when the mission ended, which assault teams participated, and how many credits and war funds you earned. The soldier section shows the progression of your soldiers, both the rank progression and the ribbon progression. And if you have participated in a mission with several characters, you can scroll through them using the arrows next to the profile picture. On the scoreboard, you can compare how you and the other players performed in the mission, and if you see someone you would like to add as a friend, you just press the plus sign next to that player. We have also added 2 new weapons, one for each faction. The German faction now has the classic P08 pistol, while the American faction can go full cowboy with the M1917 revolver. The P08 is a classic German precision instrument of the war. It fires 9mm rounds, and while it does a reasonable amount of damage, it is the precision that brings it to the holsters of the veterans. The American M1917 is a whole different kind of beast. Using the power of the 45 ACP round to throw the projectile downrange, its recoil is as heavy as the damage it inflicts. The bullet tracers have been tweaked to look more realistic and less synthetic, with a glowing core surrounded by a less bright colored glow. Fighter planes even have dual tracers, white for cannon, right-click by default, and yellow for machine gun, that's left-click. So you can now aim your way in with the machine gun and switch to the cannon for the killing shots. We currently have an increased focus on making the campaign gameplay deeper, and we're glad to finally add limited resources for each faction to the campaign. Each faction has a stockpile for every type of resource: infantry, light tanks, medium tanks, fighter planes, and so on. When you request reinforcements for your assault team, then you queue for getting some of the resources from the faction stockpile, on a first-come, first-served basis. In the Next Production Time column, you can see when each resource type will be increased in the stockpile. The amount of resources generated per production cycle is shown in the Production column. In this first version, the production time and amount of resources will be fixed, and the same for both factions. but in future updates, it will depend on various factors in the war. Having limited resources per faction will make the overall campaign game more balanced and shift the winning strategy from merely sending a massive amount of assault teams to the front line to something, well, more strategic, where you carefully have to consider where to put your resources in action. But it also requires the generals to be even better at coordinating their joint efforts. Which is why we have made a new in-game email system, where you may send messages to other players when they're not online. In order to send a message to someone, you need to add him as a friend. And he needs to have you added as a friend too. Messages are grouped by conversation, in a similar way as, for instance, Gmail does with email threads. And finally, we have created a number of packs loaded with characters, weapons, vehicles, gold, veteran membership, and much more for sale on Steam. These packs hold a quite high value and are sold with a huge discount compared to if you were to buy all the items individually for gold. Please note that you can play your way to all the characters, weapons, and vehicles included in these packs. There are lots of other changes, and you can find the full changelog on our forum. That's all for now. Play the game now at heroesandgenerals.com or find it on Steam.